What's up guys, today I explain you Jujutsu Kaisen Gojo's ending, explain, and don't forget to like this video, subscribe this channel, because we are close to hit the 1200 followers and now have fun with the video. Gojo played an absolutely significant role in JJK right from the beginning. He was the character who got things started after allowing Yuji to live following the consumption of Sukuna's finger. Gojo was proclaimed as the strongest right away, and his strength is what allowed him to lead a revolution. It was made clear to the fans right at the very beginning of the series that Gojo planned a revolution and wanted to change the higher-ups in charge of the Jujutsu society. To do this, he needed powerful allies, and that is precisely why he became a teacher and raised the younger generation. Of course, Gojo got the likes of Megumi, Yuji, and Nobara under his wing, and with his incredible skill at Jujutsu sorcery, Gojo trained them well. Whatever they have accomplished to this day is down to Gojo, and that certainly goes to show how great of a teacher Gojo truly was. However, Gojo's role in JJK goes beyond that of just a teacher. Gojo was absolutely phenomenal as a fighter, especially as he was the strongest modern sorcerer. Given that he had the power of both the limitless curse technique and the 6 eyes, Gojo was absolutely unstoppable and the only one who could actually fight Sukuna on an even footing. This was seen in the final arc of JJK, after Gojo was successfully unsealed in the events of the culling game. Gojo was unsealed, and immediately after, the date for his fight against Sukuna was set. When the Shinjuku Showdown versus Sukuna finally kick-started, fans got to witness this fight, and it was certainly an absolutely astounding one. It is safe to say that this fight put all other fights in JJK to shame, and to this day, it remains the most emphatic fight in not just JJK, but all of manga as a whole. That said, the conclusion to this fight was certainly not satisfying for the readers. While Gojo was in control of the battle for a significant portion of the time, Sukuna had his moments as well, and eventually managed to surprise the strongest modern sorcerer with a newly learned technique. Thanks to the 10 Shadows technique, which he got access to because of Megumi, Sukuna was able to cut through Gojo's infinity and essentially kill him in a single shot, splitting his body in two. Gojo finally died in JJK chapter 236, and his incredible journey as a sorcerer finally came to an end. Gojo would not have lost to Sukuna the way he did had the 10 Shadows technique not been a factor. In fact, Gojo might not have lost the battle at all, given that he was in total control of the battlefield up until the moment he lost, which happened in the blink of an eye. The fight could have been much more in Gojo's favor had Megumi's body not been a tool for Sukuna to utilize. But, at the end of the day, Gojo lost, and with that, his life came to an end as well. Gojo's loss resulted in his death, and at the same time, fans were absolutely not ready to see Gojo finally die. Gojo's death was not accepted by the fandom at large. And this wasn't simply because the fans were not ready to let go of this phenomenon, but because there were actual hints in the story for Gojo to return. In fact, many characters who faced a similar fate as Gojo, such as Yuta, Akotsu, and even Higuruma, somehow managed to survive through different means. If it was possible for them, had the author wanted Gojo to return, it would certainly have been possible for him as well. But Gojo certainly did not return, and his ending in JJK was essentially just that. Sukuna killed Gojo, and that was the end of him. Of course, Gojo did show up in many flashbacks even after his death, almost being present in just about every chapter right up until the very end. But what fans found absolutely bizarre was that no one really paid tribute to Gojo following his death. Gojo was the most influential character in JJK and affected the lives of just about every individual in the series in a profound manner. Yet, Gojo did not receive either a funeral or wasn't even talked about by the characters in the first place. Of course, in the last chapter, the conversation between Yuji and Gojo was revealed to the fans. But that certainly was not enough. Even the likes of Yuta, among many others who were dear to Gojo, should have done more, and Jij certainly dropped the ball on that. Jij should have honored the greatest character in his entire series more than he did, and at the very least, given him the respect he deserved. The funeral aside, Gojo also never got to fulfill his dream by his own two hands. Gojo wanted to change the world, and while his students certainly did aid in that, being alive to actually witness that would have been great. Gojo ended up entrusting everything to the next generation, and that certainly was a silver lining. But at the same time, he was not able to give a proper burial to Suguru, which is something that he desperately wanted. Furthermore, the question of whether Gojo was the strongest because of his personality, or if he acted the way he did because he was the strongest remained unanswered right until the very end. This is something that fans desperately wanted to be highlighted following his return, which was theorized by many, but, in the end, didn't come into being. All in all, Gojo's ending was quite average, but it certainly could have been better, especially if the author killed him off properly by tying up all the loose ends and having his character fleshed out a bit more than it was. There is no denying the possibility that a return could have made his character arc even worse, but, at the very least, it would have given the author the chance to tie up all the loose ends with this character and flesh him out properly. Had Jeej done that before he killed him off, fans would not have had as many complaints as they did. Gojo's ending could definitely have been better, but, at the end of the day, it wasn't the worst in the series either.